is an outward thing. It's an outward display. It doesn't change anybody's inside. It doesn't change your fears. It doesn't educate you. You know what I'm saying? It just says what's safe. But you abide by what's safe and you get through.
I was talking to my brother today, and we're going to have him on the pod too, man, because he has a lot of good perspectives and points, and I always kind of talk to him and look when I need that type of perspective. But somehow we got on like religion. I think we were talking about, and Laos, did the governor of North Carolina, did he win?
No, Cooper won. Well, they're kind of doing a recount, but Cooper won the first time. So
perfect.
We technically don't have a governor right now.
Okay, perfect. Shit. You'll let a monkey run it. But anyhow, we were talking about like the difference between like church and state, separation of church and state, and what he did, your old governor did to really hurt you guys economically. But what we were saying is that why is there still a black and white church and it's still the same God? You know what I'm saying? That's weird to me. If you think about it, I never thought about that. But we can't even worship together.
Yeah, because the thing is, like, check it out. So it first is when in terms of church, it's a labeling thing. You know what I'm saying? First of all, it's a culture thing. See,
yeah, because I'm not going to listen to no.
Because people say they have a multicultural church, but no, these big white churches that have a lot of black people that go there aren't multicultural. They're multiracial. You have many races in there, but the black people conform to the culture of the white people. So it's only one culture in there. A multicultural church, you would have some shouting music. You would have some contemporary Christian music. You would have, several different pastors, several different, styles. It would be like just a uniform accumulation of just many types of worship. You know what I'm saying? Just like, when people are coming together.
And just a lot of different ideals.
Yeah, a lot of ideals and less of this tradition that doesn't line up with the word. It'd be like more uniform, but more free flowing. So in our society, that's the first labeling problem. You see what I'm saying? And number two, like in terms of all this racial tension and stuff, some of the most quiet people were the white pastors. Even at your churches like the big one in Greenville or you don't Redemption and the one down the street from us, New Springs. You ain't hear none of them jokers outspoken on no pulpit or on the news talking about, look, we're over these huge congregations. We have to come together as a body of Christ because and we have to bear the infirmities of our brothers and sisters that are being unjustly done. You didn't hear none of that. They sat there and talked about Job and the whale and Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego and Bible stories when stuff was going down. When ish was getting real, you didn't hear that. You see what I'm saying? So if you're not about my culture, you can't understand me as the difference that God made and bring me in. That's why it's separate.
Makes sense.
And to go back to and Lance, to go back to when you were talking about the superiority thing too, and to what Mike was talking about, that goes back to even during slavery, the rich white people who had the slaves then had poor white people that worked for them. Well, then they put the poor white people over the slaves, and so
as poor as I am, at least I'm not a nigger.
So that's why the poor. That's why that low income, the poor, what we call white trash, still think that they're superior to black people just because they're white.
A good point.
And it felt good to them too to finally be at least to be above, because that's how we now think about. Like we can't progress either if we start to get like that with Mexicans. I tell brothers that all the time. Like, cause we'll talk some trash about some Mexicans at the gas station waiting on a job. We're like, damn, look at all the Mexicans fixing that house, black people, because it feels finally good not to be that lower rung. Check your heart. Check your heart.
Not be at the bottom of the totem pole.
Yeah, check your heart.
I have seen a group of Mexicans frame a house in one day.
Yeah,
2-story house.
That's commendable.
but to your point, that's exactly why it says inherent. Like it goes back.
Yeah, you're right.
It goes way, way back.
And good point.
So it's not just a situation where you're expecting. You can't expect. It's wrong to expect a certain race of people or minority of people to change their viewpoint and just get over something when you yourself haven't got over it yourself, because you're still demonstrating the same mentality.
But I honestly don't feel like I'm better than anybody else, and I think
I'm better at people at stuff, but not as a person.
Not as a person, like as a black person. But I think certain races that permeates through them. Like
they think they're a superior race of people.
Yeah.
You know, just like I said, tried to say on the other podcast, Hitler pushed that agenda that he had his own scientists come up with these theories that genetically speaking, he had a superior race of people.
Blonde hair, blue eyes.
Blonde hair, blue eyes. It allows you just spoke to that. I mean, because that's the truth. And I think even to this day, that still permeates through their, like some of the poorest whites, they still think that.
At least I'm not a nigger. They still feel like that. Yeah.
Like, and you see that, and those are the ones that are still lashing out. Mm-hmm. Like, because the ones who ain't got nothing to lose are the most dangerous ones with anything.
But it's funny to us because we know that that Trump supporter that's missing 3 teeth and lives in a trailer park and has a whole bunch of Confederate flags
and wearing flip flops in the winter.
We know he was the biggest loser on yesterday because Trump is not going to do anything to improve his living conditions or his socioeconomic status. He's going to stay right where he's at. And things are not going to change.
No, but they got the ultimate consolation prize because I told us a couple months ago that the more outspoken and the more angry we were about Trump, the more protests we went to, it would add fuel to the fire. I've been petty about stuff plenty times, and I've been in situations where I don't care if I lost just to see the other person. Who do we play? Tennessee? Like, I just wanted to, just like that episode at the Chili Con Carnival on South Park. Sometimes you just want to taste somebody's tears. You know what I'm saying? Just let me taste your tears. I don't care if we really win. And I feel like that's enough consolation from having Barack Obama in office for 2 terms just to see us pissed off. My socioeconomic status wouldn't have to change if I could see black people pissed for 4 years and talking doomsday theories on Facebook. This shit is great to them. This is awesome.
And that's why I'm loving seeing this protest. And hopefully y'all are watching in the background too. But this is all of our black, white, brown brothers and sisters are united. And they're not going to pin this whole anti-Trump thing on Black Lives
And this
Matter.
white dude talking with his hands, he's talking about some real stuff.
Passion.
He's
what
passionate.
I'm saying. Like, this is like true America. And this is what I didn't get because every day, every person I talked to today felt like I felt. Like they felt
anonymous mask.
They felt that pain. They felt like the sickening, like despair, all of that. So I didn't. And then you had another half of your timeline that was like their team just won the Super Bowl or the national championship. But but what Van Jones said last night on CNN, that's how I felt.
White lash.
Yeah,
I like that term. That's what it was.
I felt that way.
That was a real clip. Now I'm actually posting on our IG page too later on.
Yeah.
And Lance, think about how you feel if you're a Muslim.
Yep.
Oh Lord.
Oh my God.
Did you see? I posted on my Facebook. But did you see Sean King? That dude is awesome. I don't know his background, but he always like.
He's a political activist. True story. Sean King is the most woke person in America.
He is. But he actually started off. He's been a political activist for years.
Oh man, dude is turning up.
He actually was a youth. I think he was a youth minister at some point, and then from there I think one of the shooting of a young black man kind of got him into. Thrust him more into the higher level of activism.
This is what he posted. He tweeted this today, and it was from one of his followers, and it said, "And so it has begun. Trump for president. Seems like he brings out the best in all of you. Be proud." And this is being facetious. Wow, I'm waiting with my son in the kindergarten line, and a little girl and boy in his class are saying they voted for Trump and are teasing a Hispanic kid in line by saying he's Mexican and going to a different school than they will be and going back to Mexico. Witness this firsthand. And then that's what I'm saying. This is what Trump.
But I mean that's real. Like that's real, and that's why I said something I mentioned earlier. I'm not fearful or scared or anything regarding myself or my wife, but I'm more concerned about my kids. I have 4 children, and speaking to my daughters today, because like I always do, to check in and see how school's going and what's going on at school. And my 5th grader is telling me that, they were playing a game outside, like the girls were playing a game outside, and it was something that was called Trump walls. Trump walls.
Wow.
Where if you get tagged, you automatically have a wall up around you, and you can't move.
Wow. Those kids is creative as hell, too. But damn, that's sad.
So when you think of stuff like that, that's where a lot of our fears are. Not for us, because going back to a previous comment, like you said, the Klan, nah, because we can kick their ass. I'm not worried about that. All of us can handle ours. But for our kids to deal with that stuff at such a young age, that's a lot.
Okay, so check this out.
I think you also had to think. You'd also, if you have kids and that are not, if you have kids where how do you tell them that you're supposed to be that you're supposed to be respectful. You're supposed to be open-minded. You're not supposed to,
Well, I got a broad question that kind of
all that stuff like that.
I got a broad.
You have this.
Yeah, I got a broad question that kind of covers that because I was listening to the Breakfast Club this morning, and Christian, I'm gonna just ask everybody that same question you did, but like DJ Envy was like, yeah, my daughter woke up this morning and she was like, Dad, why is Trump president? And I was just like, I just don't know. I think we got to pray. And I was like, Envy, shut your bitch ass up. No.
That is the answer. That is the answer.
No, it is the answer.
No, but it's not going to cover it.
But let me answer I just telling you what a problem I have with this sentiment. I was just like, shut your little punk ass up. You know what I'm saying? Because as strong black men and fathers, who know better, and I'm gonna ask you guys' opinion, but I'm under the impression that like if my daughter was old enough to understand this type of stuff, I would sit down there and break down, you know what I'm saying? Like what the president is, what it does, who you should have faith in for real. You know what I'm saying? What powers you have instead of just being vague and putting that fear on your child. You see what I'm saying? Because I know like Lance, like a lot of people like, oh, I woke up feeling sick, but just like if you're the head of the household, you're almost like an umbrella. Like if a bill collector call your house, you answer the phone. You don't let a bill collector talk to your damn wife. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? If political strife is coming on America, you don't let your child take that to school. And if they come back and be like, we just played Trump walls, you break them damn walls down and keep it real with them. So what do you guys think?
I agree with that.
Well, for starters,
I think
for starters, that's exactly what we have to do, which is exactly what I did first thing this morning. So, you have to sit down even before this morning, last night, before the results were even in. So having to have that conversation with them and actually be real with your kids. Like, I think sometimes we think that that our children can't handle stuff or they're, not as resilient as they are. But kids are very resilient and understand quite well at a much younger age than we did. So I think it's really important to break stuff down for them to get them to understand exactly what's going on and reassure them that it's where their faith and things should be, and also encouraging them to come and talk to you about stuff that does happen, which is why I figured that out and was told that today, because you have to have that open dialogue with your children. So for me, that's exactly it. You have to be the head of your household, or your whole house will be in fear and you won't know what's going on.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. I think you reinforce the principles that you believe in and that you have instilled in your kids. You continue to reinforce all of those things that you tell your kids how to live their lives. You continue to tell them those things, and you also let them know that there are times where you also let them know that the reality is, there are some people that, aren't going to always agree with what you agree with or think that what your norm isn't norm for them. So you're always everything isn't always going to line up in your favor. And sometimes you just got to but you always have to stick to doing what you know is right.
Okay.
And not looking at what other people are doing, but knowing what you do what you know is right. And you keep it moving.
This is what I'm looking at this protest, and I can tell we can't hear what they're saying.
Yeah,
but you can tell it's passionate.
And this is not going to go away.
No, it's not.
It's not. This is not. And this is the silly mistake that Republicans think that we're so dumb. They don't respect our intelligence, for one.
Yes,
right. They think they're dumb enough to say, "Here's a speech that you say if you win." That'll make everything okay by saying I'm going to be the president for everybody through your actions of your life and everything you've campaigned on. We'll forget about that. But tonight that you won, we'll just say we'll make it right for everybody, and we're just supposed to be okay with it. And look at these people. This is like a visceral feeling. Like this is coming from their gut. Like this is not something. And it's almost similar to, and we saw it with the Bernie supporters. Like you said earlier, Lyles, some of them Bernie supporters was never on board with Hillary. Period, because of the movement that he started. And this right here what we see going on TV is not going to end
that burning Trump head we saw just